in case Misha comes back down to earth enough to
Right.
sometime soon. Bye, Misha.
We love you,
Well,
Michelle.
we are holding space for you, Nietzsche. Hope everything is, you're doing well and recovering well. Anyway, so some of the quotes. One of them, Leo Tolstoy said, "The strongest of all warriors are these two, time and patience." And then, where's that other one? Heraclitus, who I guess is a Greek philosopher, said, "Time is a game played beautifully by children." So if we embrace our inner child, or then, you know, and it's so true. It's like, you know, we get so caught up in, okay, well, I need to do this and this and this, and you know, I don't think that's the way we need to look at time. Time should be joyful and, you know, fun, and not just rigid and, you know, how much can I cram into this little bit of space. So.
Yeah, because our perspective of it changes so much. You mentioned children. I remember being a kid and an hour was like so long. You could never even imagine the end of it, right? And now, like, think of an hour to work on a project. Like, how do I get anything done?
Well, it's kind of funny because as kids, I mean, an hour, when someone said, okay, wait an hour, you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to wait an hour? That's like, you know, eternity. But if they were outside playing or exploring or whatever, I mean, I was gone. I was gone all day when I was a kid. I mean, I rarely came home, and it was, you know, I mean, different world, different times, but, you know, I didn't worry about time. I don't think I even owned a watch, or, you know, I don't think I ever asked anybody, so what time is it I need to get home or whatever. It was just, the sun's going down, I guess I probably ought to think about heading home. So, anywho, so I was thinking, as far as the meditation goes, I want to do something, but I want to give you guys an opportunity to choose which way you want to go. So what I've done with part of my practice, my meditation, was coming up with, a keyword for each of my sides of my pyramid.
You made one. How cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to make another one so I can have my keywords on it. So, but I was thinking that we could do that today and see what comes up for you. But when I did it, I just focused on one side of it. So, you know, the creative side, the constructive side, the connective side, or the cultivating side. So which side would you guys like to work on?
I'd kind of like to go through all of them just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm a big picture person, but Nancy, if you have a preference, that's okay too.
That's fine with me too.
Okay.
Is that not one of our options, Steve? Sorry. I'm always rocking the boat.
Well, we're creating here, so I'm good with that. It's just,
I mean, I don't know how you do it, so maybe that's not the thing. It's fine.
Well, what I do is I just kind of walk through and okay, you know, spend time. I go through each of the chakras, and so if there's 4 faces and 7 chakras, that's 28.
Oh, I see.
So that's just.
Oh, by the chakra.
There are 28 what?
Well, if 4 faces of the pyramid, 7 chakras, so 28 total. So I don't.
You know, it's very interesting, Steve. One of the things I've been doing with the whole Comfort Her project is that each quilt has become healing through a chakra, and there are 7 chakras, but each one is healed through the complementary color. So I'm putting one primary, like for the one that's healing, finding her voice, is quilt that's primary color is blue for the blue throat chakra. There'll be another quilt that isn't even conceived of yet, that's about creativity chakra, the belly chakra. And it's primarily orange with blue and,
Right.
So the one healing the heart is primarily, the dragon is green and the red is the fire, so there'll be another one that's primarily red with green.
That is really cool. The blue and orange that you mentioned first, those were the colors that came to me to bring to my Reiki class that I taught on Sunday. So I wore this bright orange dress with this like bright jacket with suns and everything on, and then I had this like blue, I'm showing Steve, the silk scarf that was on the altar and stuff. I don't have,
which is perfect because it's a really, really bright orange for the creativity center, the belly,
and the expression of the blue.
So yeah.
Cool. So, okay, well, Steve, I didn't realize we were going to go through the 7 chakras when you said that. I was thinking there would be 4 parts, but if there are 28, that might be too much. So please proceed as you are led.
Okay.
We can always do more of this later, it sounds like.
Well, show us the 4 again, because if we are going to choose one and go through the 7 chakras, I'd like to.
Okay, so we've got creative, constructive, connective, and cultivating.
Creative would be my choice.
Sure, fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about this week, Steve. I've been using this in my mind. I'm aware of like which part I'm working in sometimes and how they're connected. So this is awesome.
Nice. Okay. So let's do this. So take a deep breath. Just inhale and feel the energy filling up your inner vessel. And get a sense of your creative self. Who you are when you're creative, the way that you express yourself when you're creative, your creative desires, and even your creative frustrations. And we're going to begin with the root chakra, which is the color red. And it's where we're grounded, where we're connected to Mother Earth, who is a master of creativity. And as you step into this creative space, your natural creativity gets manifest. And you feel yourself connected to the earth and anchored and have a solid foundation upon which to rest and to create. And as you are in this space, take a moment to let a word come to mind that reflects this feeling of where you're at right now. And if a word doesn't come to mind immediately, that's okay. Be like Mother Nature and just let things come in their own season. But as you feel that groundedness in your creative abilities, in your creative self, you move into the 2nd chakra, which is associated with creativity and bringing forth your gifts, and is associated with the color orange. And as you allow yourself to be in this space and to feel that warm orange glow radiating around you. You feel confidence and excitement about the things that are being created around you and through you. And think about the word that might have come to you earlier, or the word that is emerging in this new space. And as you reflect on that, move into the third chakra, which is your power center, and is like a generator for the rest of your soul. This is a powerful place. And here you can feed your creativity. You think about the things that you do in order to nurture your creative self, in order to be the creative person that you are, and to bring forth and express your creative gifts and abilities. And again, you leave space and invite this creative word to come to your mind and to radiate through you like the energy center. And you allow yourself to have whatever feelings that you have with regards to your creative self. And as you transition out of this third chakra into the fourth chakra.
Sorry, I didn't know I had the phone. Pardon me. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, so as we move into the lush and verdant fourth chakra, centered around your heart, you think of all the people who are in your creative circle, the people who have influenced your voice and have helped shape the creation that you are and that you do. And you think about the people who are around you, your peers and your confidants, your comrades. And you feel this solidarity of creation. And again, the creative word comes to mind. And you experience this together. This community of creativity, of expression. Which brings us into the fifth chakra, where creativity is expressed and your voice is expressed, and who you are as a creative person is brought forth, and you share the message, and the word comes from your lips. This word representing creativity and your divine creative self. And that is you express it and share it through your gifts and your talents, your interests, and your passions and your desires. That your words are received, and it strengthens the community. And then as we move into the sixth chakra, you begin to see your creativity and the impact that it is having upon your life and the life of those around you, those in your community, those in your far community, those who are just hearing a glimpse of what you have to say. You see the possibility that you're creating possibilities of what could be added through your unique contribution. And again, the word is emblazoned upon the horizon. And you appreciate your role in this place. And that connects you to your 7th chakra and to your divine self, and the connection and the relationship with the universe and all the power and influence of the universe. And you feel this creativity flowing throughout your body, throughout yourself, and throughout the world in which you are living and creating. And you hear this word whispered into your ear. And you feel connected to your, and aligned with your divine purpose, which is reflected in this word. As you allow this word to, and this experience of creativity in your creative self to reverberate and flow from you, through you, from your crown chakra, and down through each chakra to your root chakra, and into the ground. You feel the connection between who you are and what you could be, and what you're creating in this space. You take a deep breath. And breathe in this word. And become present to the place where you're sitting, to the environment which you're in, and the space in which you create. And let out a deep breath, a big breath, and allow yourself to become present to your surroundings. So how was that for you?
It's great. Sorry for the interruption. I totally forgot I even had the phone up here, but
That's okay.
I'm pretty able to like be, present to the world and hold the meditative space. You learn that when you do a lot of rituals with families and children and stuff. So, hey, get away from the fire. All right, now we're in a deep trance.
Well, yeah, I kind of learned that with having kids around too. It's like
Exactly.
half an hour with in meditation, and kids are coming in and out of the room, and hey, daddy, and blah blah blah, and it's like, okay, this is cool. Just let it be.
For the ancestors. The dogs are in the potato salad at the potluck table. Yeah, been there. Anyway, it was great. And partly, I don't buy this theory that your mind can only think of one thing at a time. I've heard people say that, and I think it's absurd. So I'm doing all these things at the same time, but I was really remembering the first time you did the chakra meditation with us. There were keywords, but it was different from the pyramid thing. And I might try to go back and find that, or if you wanted to create that as a little package, I may want to use that in my Reiki teaching, because the way my teacher does it, she has these big posters that she made with her like original drawings of the symbols and all this stuff. I don't want to use something like that. But we do include the chakras. And I feel like your meditations can really help people get a feel for it rather than looking at a poster and keywords and writing them down. You know, because you definitely have tapped into something with the chakra meditations that you do.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Like I said, I spend 30 minutes a day meditating, and there's like 5 or 6 different stages that at least that I do during that. But the biggest by far is the chakra meditation. And I do something different with it every day. It's just like I just bring something into that space of, you know, what am I trying to create, or, you know, what am I working on? And it's just, the thing I really appreciate about that process is just this, again, kind of like the cyclical nature of it. And it doesn't really like line up cyclically because you're working from your root chakra to your crown chakra. But it's like it encompasses like all of you, right? I mean, it's not just, you know, well, how do you feel about it, or how do people think about it, or how do you express it, or whatever, but it's like all of you. And, you know, so when I bring something into it, I'm trying to get like a full cycle of experience with it so that it's not just, you know, one layer.
Well, I really got that, especially at the end when we were at the top and came back down through. And then I started to think, sure, bringing that crown chakra energy down through is great. And then you could start to look at the relationships between the other ones as well, the keywords or whatever. So that was like a jumping off point where clearly there's more. That was good to like kind of leave that at the end where there could be more. And Nancy, I found myself using the mudra that you taught us for creativity that one time. I use that a lot, and I was like, oh, well, that's perfect for this. So
that's one of the things I do too. So when I'm doing it, I didn't do that this time. So I go through like each of the, so like the root chakras, you know, like the. Right,
I was wondering if you had, okay, and then maybe a different mudra for each of the faces of the pyramid too, because like the creativity one, and then you could probably find other ones too. So
yeah.
But for the chakras too, yeah. I'd like to learn more of the mudras.
Yeah, I know there are variations. Like the ones I know are, you know, root chakra, and then sacral chakra, and then solar plexus, and then heart chakra, and then throat chakra, and this is like the weirdest one for the third eye chakra, and then finally the crown chakra, like that. But my fingers, when I first started doing this, I couldn't get it. It was like, it was so awkward.
That's good though. So where'd you learn all this stuff? And I'm guessing not in Sunday school, right? You seem to like.
No, I did not learn it in Sunday school.
Just sorry, you know, your parent religious education.
No, I think I would be ushered out if I were to do that.
I was going to say, but you could try teaching it in Sunday school.
I don't think they're ready for that. Some of them might be. Muted, Nancy.
Where'd your sound go?
I did that because of like your phone.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think to mute. I just ran away with the phone.
I heard the dinger on my computer and I just muted myself. But I was going to say back at the beginning of the meditation, I just lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Sunday school and mudras.
Oh, yeah, that you said, Steve, to, you know, about the time quote was about children. And I was thinking that, you know, children are more receptive to this than we can even imagine, because they don't have the
stories and
culturation, around it.
Yeah.
I saw a YouTube about these children in an Asian country that started their morning preschool with mindfulness and just bowing to each other. It's so beautiful. I was like, my God.
Yeah. My kids actually have done some meditation and yoga and so forth, and while they're in school. Which,
excellent.
So I loved the experience, Steve, and I came up with a word each time, and then I brought myself enough out of the meditation to type it into my phone.
Oh, really?
And then I found that after, like, the throat, it went a little bit too fast, but the words were there even before you asked us to let them come in. Like, it was just part of the process after you did the first one. And my word for the root chakra that came first was genius. And I love
it. Right. Oh, wow.
Wow. Mine was materialize. I was like thinking about manifest and fertility and stuff, but then materializing something has this little magical, like, kind of flair to it, you know?
Wow. So what words came up for you guys? Did you come up, how many words each did you?
I have one for each chakra and two for, root, for the heart. Yeah, that was weird. But so genius was my one for the root, for the first chakra. For the second chakra, around the belly chakra, it was imagination. For the solar plexus chakra, it was joy. It was
nice.
Joy. And for the heart chakra, what came to my mind was jealousy.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, oh, so these aren't all necessarily all wonderful, loving words. You know, it was like I was in my portrait drawing thinking about a comment that was made because we're having a show, and anyway, it was just, I was jealous. So I wrote next to it companionship, but that really didn't come with the same feeling. So then the throat was empowerment, third eye was comfort, and the crown chakra was influx.
Wow.
Which is a word from my Swedenborgian religion, religious training, and you know, it's similar. I wrote invoke first, like invoke the angels, but then what came was this idea of influx, which is really that it's the pouring in from spirit.
Nice.
My words were materialize at the root, celebrate at the orange, the second chakra, and then at the third one, shine. And with the sense of confidence that's just like that effortless, you know, you don't, when you just shine, you're not trying to make it happen, you know?
Yeah.
And then at the heart was circle, was the people, like the people all in a circle. And I could tell there was a lot of different stuff about that, but it was just there, like holding space. Whether it's like energy flowing around the circle, you were talking about all the people that support us, like all those things. And then the next one, the throat chakra, was flow. At first it was like breath and breathing, but then it seemed like flow in general. And the third eye, vision. And then the crown chakra was grace. So it was nice to have the grace like descending through all the other ones at the end while you were doing that, was just white light coming down.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, because for me, I have like one word for, hey kiddo.
Hello.
I have one word for the creative face, although another word, which is discover. So like when I'm in my creative space, I'm discovering, I'm exploring, there's like all these different variations on it and so forth, and just the way I experience it and share with people and so forth. But as I was doing it today, the other word that came up for me was allow. You know, and it's like, you know, allow other people to, and of course I allow other people to have whatever their experience is, and, you know,
yeah, of course, that's easier said than done sometimes.
Right.
Good job if you're doing it.
But it's that whole, you know, kind of the whole sense of allow, in that it is a surrender, you know, that, and you both have much more experience leading meditations than I do. And so one of the reasons, and so I'm really grateful for this opportunity, because I don't really do it anywhere else. But
do that in Sunday school. You could even do it with a Bible story, like picture yourself in the desert, or imagine yourself in Jerusalem. I don't know. I mean, you know, you could awaken people's meditation still within the context. Or
that's a good idea.
You know, Joseph Smith. I don't know. I mean, you could do some pretty cool meditations.
That's true. I mean, I have done a little bit of that, and it's like I've talked about, you know, just notice your breath, and, you know, notice what happens when you're just paying attention to your breath, and how soon your mind is off to something else. And, you know, but, you know, I like that idea of, well, let's imagine. So I just taught about Psalms this past Sunday, and about creativity and kind of, you know, being your own songwriter type of thing.
Oh yeah.
Which was definitely an experience. But I think actually doing some kind of meditation there might have actually been really useful. It's like, you know, imagine yourself in David's court, or, you know.
Yeah. And you don't have to call it a meditation, right? You could just kind of like ease into imagine, or, you know, what if there were angels around you right now? Or,
right.
You know, people would like to talk about, what does God's voice sound like or feel like for you? What does the divine presence feel like, you know?
Yeah.
There don't have to be answers that people, you know, feel like have a right answer, but just to have this space for that. Wow, Nancy.
That's a cool room.
How cool is that? Oh my gosh. So, okay, tell us what we're looking at here.
That's my Kuan Yin quilt behind me. It was done the first year I was Minister of the Week at Ferry Beach, because the theme for the summer was compassion, and so I got pictures of Kuan Yin, and then I made a black and white copy and an architectural copy, and I cut it into 40 pieces, and I made up 40 templates for 32 artists that were there that year, and they all did different pieces, different blocks in that quilt.
Wow.
And then I quilted it. So
that's awesome.
Really cool.
So that's what you're seeing there. And
is all of that like fabric, or is it?
Yeah, I'm going to bring you really close.
Is it applique?
No, it's all fabric.
Wow.
So like the face and stuff is.
Yeah, you can see the different blocks there.
Wow,
so like
that is so cool.
A block here and a block there, done by different artists. What I did on the template is I put an arrow when it was up, you know, and because they were just black and white. And then I did say some things like yellow for the flames and red behind it, so that everybody did about that much the same, you know. But
wow.
But they didn't know what it was going to be until it was all put together. I don't know if this is going to show you what I'm working on now.
Looks like fun.
That's the dragon.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So again, I took an architectural copy of my drawing, and I'm cutting it out and then using fusible bonding so that I cut the pieces out of the fabric once it's got this fusing on it, and then I tacky iron it down to the.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good old stitch witchery.
That is so cool.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing your studio with us. That's awesome.
My makeshift studio. It's like
right.
Oh, crowded. And here's one more image is some of my fabric and my sewing machine.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well,
We gotta incorporate like a show and tell into our mastermind.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking that's like kind of part of the check-in. Like, Nancy, do you want to just like do your check-in before you get hands-on, or how do you want to do? What's going to work for you?
Sure. I'd love to. So the highlight of my week is that I'm doing this, you know.
I don't have my timer. I don't think it's.
I've got a timer.
Okay.
Oh, actually, there was something I wanted to.
I don't know where mine is. Probably in the other room.
So one thing I really wanted to share today was this postcard that we did for that retreat.
Yeah.
Steve and we asked people to fill it out, and then he mailed them 6 months later.
Oh, wow.
So we wrote these in January, and I wrote, "You are an artist. Claim it, name it every day. Invest fully in your creative expression. You are worthy."
Nice.
And I received that in the mail the other day. And in the meantime, when I was leading the retreat and Steve and I introduced ourselves, I didn't say I was an artist. I didn't even say it. So between then and now, I started I pray in the morning and at night. And then I pray every meal before I eat. And I name myself as Nancy Weston Adair. I'm a food addict. Please help me feel full and satisfied with this meal, filling up with spirit, love, and laughter in between my meals. So that's my prayer 3 times a day. Well, after the retreat, I started to say, I'm an artist. My name's Nancy Weston Adair. I'm an artist and a grateful recovering food addict. And then one day it came through me. I said, I'm a gifted artist.
All right.
And gratefully recovering food addict. And then one day it came up, gifted and celebrated, and I couldn't even say it.
Oh.
Like what we were doing today with the words, it came, but I was like, I celebrate creative way of life. I was trying to change it. And I was coaching at that time with Elena from Italy. And she said, you celebrate yourself as an artist. You celebrate the arts. You celebrate a creative way of living. Why not say you're a celebrated artist? So I've started to say that I'm a gifted and celebrated artist and recovering, and gratefully recovering food addict. And it is really changing. And then to get this in the mail, claim it every day. Oh my God, I am doing that. So
can you show me the back of that again?
This side or the side?
The other side.
Yeah, we can read that.
So how is that mailed to you? Did it come in an envelope or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It was in an envelope. And
I was just thinking postcard, and I didn't know. I mean, having designed some postcards, I know how goofy the post office is about.
No. Just So it's really like we had a bunch of these made up. We had them made up for future workshops too. And I have a quote on here from my, the artist that I interviewed. I just love that too. So
that is so cool. I love that.
That is a great idea. I love that.
I love the idea of doing the postcard and the affirmation that you do, and that's just
So I wanted to say that I have been working on this quilt just a little bit, not every day, but more often than not. And I love how it's coming together. It has me a little like, wow, this is a lot of work. I have a goal of finishing it by the August retreat so that I can, sew then. But we'll see how far it gets. I did ask for a design wall this year so I could keep doing more. But
cool.
And I also want to kind of report out that I have 26 clients I'm seeing this week.
Wow, you're busy.
This week?
Full for me was 24, and I am seeing 9 people tomorrow, or talking to 9 people.
Wow.
Wow.
Actually, that's 10.
Huh.
There's 10. Somebody canceled, and I filled the space.
Oh my gosh.
They canceled today. They're 8 a.m., and I'm seeing a new client at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Wow. So it just like folded into opened up.
Wow.
It's just, it's just wild. I've never been this busy. I've never, in my career as a counselor, I've never had a waiting list.
Huh.
I did private practice for 20 years once before. I've never, So.
Are you enjoying it?
I am really enjoying it, and I'm not forgetting to enjoy it. Like, playing pickleball this morning, and I'm playing tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not playing tomorrow. I can't do anything tomorrow, but other than see people.
Yeah.
I am packing my lunch and my dinner tomorrow, so.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'll be other times when it's not quite as busy and you'll be glad for the little bit of respite, but this is a nice fullness.
It's really,
yeah.
It's really great. And I have Steve, the guy that I did this workshop with, just lost his job.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to see one person in my office this week when I'm not there, either today or on Thursday. And I want to take the clients that I talk to by phone on Wednesday and move them to Thursday so that I can open up some more space in the office. So I'm doing that tomorrow when I talk to them. So
that's great.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Wow.
So
I think I heard the timer.
Yeah. I did want to touch, though, on, did anything evolve with or transpire with your Airbnb person back in England?
I was wondering that too. Yeah.
I haven't done anything yet. I intend to write a card and send the bracelet back. And I haven't done it. It feels like it's just because I'm too busy to get that done. But I intend to do that. And I talked to some other people, and it wasn't like I'm going to drop the whole relationship. My sponsor was loving and kind like you. She was like, yeah, I've done similar crap, but it's not horrible, And she said to me, she said, you might be more discerning next time about the Airbnb you choose.
Huh?
And it was curious to me because I've really kind of awakened to the idea that I'm very attracted to the people with bipolar, Steve, And I really think that that may have been true of my mom, and I think it's probably true of Kathleen. And when you have bipolar but you're not in balance with it, then I think that comes out in kind of that. I mean, her words to me were very attacking and aggressive. But,
right. Oh, I know I can get that way if I'm not taking care of myself.
Right. That's what I'm saying, and I think that the trigger of the bracelet just put her into a really not trusting place. So to answer your question, I feel like I have a growing compassion for the whole thing. That
good.
I don't need to take it so personally. You guys really helped me because it was easy to tell my sponsor the next day. And
good.
I was really feeling like, oh no, I can't admit that to her. And she was very loving, which she's been with everything. And
that's great.
I've also just come to a decision to end the relationship, not as a romantic relationship, and just develop a friendship with my friend from Ireland. And that feels really right too. So hard to do, but right.
Wow, a lot going on.
Yeah.
Good for you. You're doing it. All of it.
Well, love to you, Nancy.
Yeah. Amazing.
You want to go, Dawn?
Sure. I've had a few minutes and wrote stuff down. It's a long list, and I'll just try to go right through it quickly. And some things I have questions for you guys to maybe help with. So on Sunday, I taught my first Reiki Level 1 class, which was awesome. And now I have a really good idea of how I want to teach it a little bit differently. I love my teacher. I'm grateful for her. She's awesome. And I want to do it a little differently. But now that I've done it with her, I'm like, oh, I can totally do this. I told Phil that night, I was like, I could do this again tomorrow. Which is probably not true because I slept for 12 hours. So, but anyway,
wow.
It was awesome. And the people were happy and it worked. I have attuned people now. It's real. Like I knew it was real, but I did it. So I practiced on Phil on Saturday and it was real for him too. And then, anyway, so that was awesome. Okay. Go through the list. I have a letter that was channeled through my teacher way back when I first was interested in teacher training, and was sitting with her for a couple of years, and I can read it to you guys if we end up having time. I would like to because it's really amazing. Actually, I'm just going to read it because it's amazing. So each time she trains someone to be a teacher, she asks their guides for a message, and this is what came through. The guide is Clara. Or Clara, I kind of want to pronounce it. A frail older woman in her 60s appeared to me. She was in a library. She is the keeper of the flame of literacy, and she watches over the words used by the Council of Healers. She wants you to know that she loves your fortitude and strength over the earth's existence and health of its inhabitants. You will overcome all obstacles as you explore your divine purpose. You have true grit and live your truth that is not common and well appreciated by the universe. Be strong as you pursue your goals. I will help you verbalize your truth and the universal truth of life itself. I have been with you since the beginning and will stay with you as long as I am still needed. You are well on your way to success. Be kind to yourself and others as you journey on your life's path. If you need me, just connect by asking out loud, Clara, help me, and then wait to hear my response. You are loved deeply, and I cannot wait until we finally meet, as we surely will. Blessings, dear one, for you are the deliverer of truth and light. That was from September 3rd, 2016, when I was first thinking about teacher training. So that was pretty.
Almost 5 years ago, right?
16, 2 years ago.
Oh, 6. I think you said, okay.
Yeah. So the keeper of the flame of literacy and all that.
That is so cool.
And the words of the Council of Healers, like that'll continue to unfold for sure. Like, whoa, what? Okay. Awesome. Like I said, working with the faces of that pyramid, Steve, the connecting part is feeling very personal to me. Like I put a newsletter out on my blog the other day, but I really didn't promote it any further than that. And probably like 7 people are signed up for my blog subscription or whatever. And I'm really feeling like not broadcasting PR stuff. I really feel more like personally inviting people to do things like my classes and, even like with the whole B&B plan and stuff. I'm really finding that strong feeling instead of like throw it out there and see how many people I can get in. And that's aligned with the Black Panther card I picked on Sunday. Nancy, do you have the medicine card deck with the animals? You know what that is?
I do know it, and
Yeah.
I don't currently have it.
Yeah, so my teacher has that, and I picked the Black Panther, which is that like keep it quiet and keep building, and see and be unseen, sort of in a way, but be present.
I think that's so important. I mean,
it's really cool, yeah. Which is so different from all the internet programs that are like, get it out there and reach 1 million people and 40 of them will sign up for your, like, no, that's not what's happening right now. I'm just going to go with the right people, You
have 1 minute, by the way.
Okay. So this week I've been concentrating on the Vermont Community Foundation grant for part of the lifelong resilience teaching program, working with a group called Safe Art here, which helps people heal from abuse and the arts and stuff. I got some more information on the castle. So this is one of the things I wanted to ask you about, Steve. You mentioned buying a house for business is different from buying a house to live in, and I want to do both. And the question is is that about going to the bank with a business plan for pre-approval rather than just your income? So that's one thing to think about. On Saturday, Phil and I went out for a breakfast date and picked blueberries and invented the Northeast Vintage Racing Association. We used to actually belong to the Southern Vintage Racing Association and race like old little cars and stuff.
Oh, really? Huh.
A vintage historical thing that guys do. So that was pretty cool. That's my timer. So that was really fun because of the historical aspect of it, I can kind of get into that. Other than that, I'm not really a classic car or a gearhead person. But we really were able to connect on that. And he is doing really, really super well. And I think Reiki is really, really super helping him. And the more it helps me, the more it helps him. And we've been working together. Right. Tomorrow at Bayada, the hospice group I volunteer for, I'm going to do some kind of a program. I don't even know what. We're going to improvise, but to just help them understand Reiki better. And both of my clients are sort of declining, and I think I'm going to cut back on volunteering to focus more on these projects that are kind of coming about and teaching and stuff for now. And the way I want to teach Reiki is to keep it really, really pure and to make it clear to my students that if there are other things involved, whether it's crystals or tarot cards or anything else, that's fine. But Reiki is Reiki, and it's not really that. Because in my training, that's been a little confusing, and I get that. And we offered to do Reiki at the Railway to the Moon Steampunk Festival in August, and haven't heard back from them yet. Reiki at church, Phil and I together this Sunday for a healing wellness fair. Next week, I'm teaching horse sense with the kids at the Virtue Summer Camp. And then in August, I'm doing Bearing Fruit, a program at church, a Seasons of Magic program about hard and soft work in the business of isness. And then I watched the Misha and Barb silly video, and I wanted to ask you both about crowdfunding, both for profit and nonprofit. So I've been a busy girl.
Wow. You have been. That's great.
Oh, and we did another giving Reiki at the farmer's market too. So.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That is really great.
I'm busy.
It sounds like your community can both be super challenging like it was earlier this year, but also a really great environment for you to do the work that you're doing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And having been here long enough, I'm feeling better. Well, first of all, I mean, you just survive stuff and then you're better after that. Just like Nancy, your thing, if you can hear with your Airbnb person, it's like you survive that conflict and then you kind of go on, however it is, either with them or without them or whatever. But, and I'm not focusing on Versha, which is the town I live in. I'm focusing on Chelsea, which is the next town, because I still have, whatever floating around with Versha. But there's, again, that kind of invitational. There are certain people in the Versha community that I do want to bring into this. But I guess that's true of the Chelsea community too. And now they're inviting me into some of their sustainability planning, like for the new food co-op I mentioned and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, it's just about really going with where the connections feel strong and healthy, and the other ones just bless them and let them go. And some, like you're doing, Nancy, just kind of hold the space until it's the right moment. Like you're too busy to just take care of that right now, which is kind of awesome because it doesn't feel like that's on fire.
Right.
It's going to happen. It's fine. It's like it's already resolved, and you'll just do it when you do it. And good for you. Let it come in the natural flow of things. So that's happening.
That's great. Sounds like good things for both of you.
Yeah. The partner organizations, Safe Art that I mentioned, the interim director's name is Yasmin Hossein, and she has a PhD in something, I don't know what. But she's super excited to do this with me, to train people from the Safe Art programs, and maybe her too. I would love for staff to be involved too. To learn Reiki and to practice it together, and then to go to Riverbend and do it with the elders.
Wow.
Meanwhile, they will have been trained, some of the staff and elders there, because I'm just going to do it. I'm going to try to raise money with crowdfunding, which is what I wanted to ask about. But either way, I'm definitely going to do it and keep that going. So
that's great. So yeah. I want to be mindful of time.
Are we like almost done already?
Yeah, this time has flown by. Yeah. So why don't I do my 5 minutes, and then, Dawn, you can ask about the crowdfunding, and then we'll do the wrap up with the affirmations.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start.
Don't worry about it. Okay.
So a couple of things, well, lots of things have happened for me this week. I did this little pyramid that you guys saw earlier which is really kind of cool, is actually to actually see stuff come together. And this is like a super simple thing. I mean, it was just like, I found this template on Pinterest on creating a pyramid like this, and I'm like, okay. And then I used it in, I wanted, the next one I build, I want to be bigger than this because this is just so small. But I used it, I spoke in Toastmasters on Friday about finding your unicorn time. And I'm actually writing which was based on a blog post that I'm writing right now. And it's really about going from mundane time to magnificent time. You know, and it's really what's our relationship with, you know, life, with time, with, you know, who we are. I really love your affirmation or the prayer that you do, Nancy, about, you know, I am a gifted and celebrated artist, because that's something that I'm constantly in, what I don't know, conflict with, I guess, about myself is, you know, I spent the bulk of my life, like 90% of it, not really being an artist. And so now this new way of being an artist is just, I'm still getting used to it. And one of the things that I started doing last week as well was starting to share more of my photography on Facebook, which is really kind of eye-opening, and I don't know, it's just sharing more. One of the things I'm realizing is if I want to be a leader, inspiration, I don't know what the word is, but for creativity, a cheerleader type of thing, that I want to, and feel like compelled to, in a good way, to share my own work. And so, you know, I'm doing more of that. And one of the things that I started doing too over the weekend is, you know, I've been doing these soul scribbles for a while. So I started actually to transform them into something a little bit more. So
that looks great. That's beautiful.
I took one of my soul scribbles and did that. And then yesterday I did this one. Which, believe it or not, the word that's associated with this is confidence.
Ride the wave.
Right. Yeah. It's like when that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
What did you say, Nancy?
I said, even with every storm, you know, ride the wave, even with the storm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when you know who you are and where you're headed, it's so much easier to deal with the rough waves.
The elements, right.
Yeah. Oh, and then I also spent Thursday afternoon in the hospital. I had been having some chest pains. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so I called up the doctor, and they're like, well, basically you need to go to the emergency room. I'm like, okay, I don't think this is that big of a deal, but, you know, we'll go and get all the testing and stuff done. And so they did the EKGs and blood work and so forth. And I don't know if you can see it, but like the bruise that's there. Yeah. And then I have another bruise over here on this arm where they're doing the IVs to, you know, do the blood work. And the first person who was doing it didn't do a great, I don't have anything against her. She was great, but she just blew my veins twice. It was really painful.
Wow.
But the third guy, the guy who was actually in the emergency room, was able to get it finally, and there's no bruise on that one. So,
wow.
But anyway, I made it through, and everything looks okay. There wasn't like any really signs of anything that like really happened. So I'm starting to actually think that maybe what happened was actually more related to my struggle with acid reflux than it does with my heart. Because then I had something else that happened over the weekend that suggests that more as well. But I'm glad I went in and got it checked out. And it was like, you know, did I have a heart attack? Did I? No, I don't know. And everything came back okay. So
good.
And I'm still not taking any medicine. even though they're like, okay, you need to take all this medicine. I'm like,
Mm.
I don't really want to go down that path.
Right, especially having not found anything in particular wrong, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm being more mindful about, what I'm eating, and I know that I can be even more so, but I don't know. I want to find a different path, because one of the things that drives me nuts is this whole idea of, well, you've got all these problems, here, take a bunch of pills. Instead of, well, you've got all these problems, what are you doing? What are you bringing into your body that's affecting you, that's causing, these different things going on? That's
Where might it be coming from? Right.
right.
It's not coming from a deficiency of pills.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
you might look for a naturopathic doctor because they're MDs, but they also have other options. I don't know if you've gone that route, but
yeah. Well, one of the things I'm concerned about with that is how well my insurance will cover that. But I mean, if that's an option, I definitely am.
Yeah, check it out, because some do. I've had a naturopathic doctor as a primary care physician in the past before she moved on, but that could be a possibility, because that way they're MDs.
Okay.
So they get the medical system, but they also may practice acupuncture or suggest herbs, or they will ask you what you eat.
Well, that would be really nice, actually. I mean, instead of just, okay, well, your blood test is this, therefore you take this pill. It's like, that doesn't make sense to me.
No.
Although I went down that route for a long, long time, and it's just not what I want to do.
Too.
Anyway, my time is up, and our time as a group is almost up. So
I know. Well, we can type our affirmations again. I don't mind doing that sometimes. I mean, we all have a lot of really interesting things going on. It's like,
yeah, that would be good for me this week to type our affirmations.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were your questions about crowdfunding?
Oh yeah. So, well, the first thing was about, and maybe this is the same thing, but buying a property as a business as opposed to a residence, or both. And so where we are now in that process is wanting to get pre-approved, just pre-qualified. They just want us to have a discussion with a bank so that we can go and look at it. They just don't want everyone in town traipsing through their beautiful house, which I can understand.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to myself, it's not just that we need to prove income to afford this house as if it were just a residence, because we don't quite have that, and it's not. So it's more, how much of a business plan maybe do I need, right?
Right. Well, I would definitely, yeah. I mean, what I was saying, and this is not my area of expertise, it's just what I know from kind of being in the environment. But basically what you're looking at is actually not just a residence. In fact, you're not looking, I mean, you're kind of looking for a residence, but the primary focus of it is actually more the business side of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would pay. It's meant to pay for itself. It's not just that we work another job and pay for it, although outside income can contribute.
Right.
So it's good both.
So that actually would support your, one of the things that lenders like to look at is what you're contributing, instead of, they don't want to, they want, if you're willing to and able to, I don't know what your plans are, to sell what you've got right now and buy this, or to whatever.
Yeah. For down payment kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. But the stronger plan that you have, and plus, I mean, there's two things it'll do for you. One, you're forming a relationship with, the lenders. Two, you kind of get in your own head, well, this is what it would take in order for this to work. Mm-hmm. And, it's, I think it makes it much more likely, probable, if you're able to put together, and I can help you if you need. Doing a business plan can be a really involved process. Do you know if you've got a local SBA office there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So they would be a good person to talk to. In fact, they could even help with the lending.
Thank you for that reminder, because there's tons of small business help in Vermont. I mean, I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but there's tons here. Yeah, I mean, I've done some research online for like the hospitality industry in Vermont. I realized I now understand that we have a Vermont Gay Tourism Association. Seriously. And, I mean, there's tons of tourist support and stuff like that here. I mean, there's competition too, but there are no like luxury Reiki retreats, anything like that whatsoever at all. So
well, I would imagine there's hardly any in the country.
I know. I think that this is like the perfect moment to pioneer something like this because Reiki is starting to be known, but it's not on every corner like yoga is. You can't turn around without walking into a yoga studio in my neck of the woods. Even though the rednecks are like blowing up their pond on Saturday night over here, everyone else over here is practicing yoga or starting a Zen meditation center. It's like, this is where we live. So yeah. So there are yoga retreats, and that's usually what wellness means. Mm-hmm. So adding Reiki would be awesome. So anyway,
So I think it's great that you're looking at associations because that can be a great. Mm-hmm. I mean, for one thing, there are many ways you can come up with the funding for this. You can come up with it through a traditional bank loan. You can come up with it through I don't know, some creative lending or creative financing with the current owner. You can come up with it through through the SBA. You can come up with it through angel investors.
What do you mean by angel investors? I forget what that is. So that's just like private sponsors, right?
Essentially, yeah.
It's the name of a group that you can apply to the angel investors group for your project. And they're angels, they're people with great wealth who want to invest.
Right. Now, the crowdfunding idea is that if enough people just sign up, pre-buy these packages for next year or whatever, it'll just cover all of it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, maybe that's a piece of it, and maybe it wouldn't be all the way full or whatever. But
one of the things that I know about crowdfunding is that there is the crowdfunding part of it, but there's also it's a great way to get your name out there and to get people knowing about what you're doing.
Exactly.
Like Reading Rainbow, I think one of the reasons I don't know all the reasons they did it, but I mean, when they raised, I don't know how many millions in like no time at all, it not only got them the money that they needed, but it also built this community that was already invested, like literally invested in what they were doing. So.
Yep. Yeah, I look forward to doing that both for the profit and nonprofit projects. And so I've been doing some research. I'm just starting to look at, I see there are different groups and different platforms. There's even a group in Vermont called Common Good, and they work with a platform called CauseVox that's a crowdfunding thing for nonprofits. So great, there's support there. And then, there's a lot of information on crowdfunding for profits. And some people have used it for bed and breakfasts and retreat centers. I'm finding that as well. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I'm not totally starting from scratch, even though I'm doing something new in quite the combination that it is. It's unique, but it's not.
Which actually can be a good thing depending on what who the people you're talking to.
Right.
And maybe there's some associations or some, angels, and angels can be anybody, so maybe there's some celebrity or some wealthy person who's already into Reiki, and would think, well, this would be really cool to support, invest in, So, yeah. And honestly, if you can find,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
If you can find a celebrity of some sort who would be, where it would be a good fit for them to come and do an event of some sort,
right,
at your center, like how I'm calling your center already.
I know. Well, that would be so easy. So the person that built this house, Albert Chandler, for his wife Marilla, which is why it's called Mari Castle. He also donated the Chandler Arts Center. There were a few guys from this small town who made it big and came back and donated to their town. Kimball built a library, Gifford built the hospital, Chandler built the music hall and arts center. And Natalie McMaster comes there, like kind of big names come and do Like, it's a beautiful auditorium with fabulous acoustics. It's like the Victorian architecture. It's really beautiful. And it's the community music hall. And so people who perform there might want to stay with us.
Mm-hmm.
Or do separate programs there. I mean, the possibilities for programming are endless. And there's just enough of a draw to this little town that could make it work. And we're on the railroad line, actually.
You know, I want to connect with someone I know in North Carolina who lives in a small town, and she did some fundraising for, I think, an art center. I don't know it's been a while since I've spoken with her, but I think it might be good for you to talk to her. And she's really into, I don't know if she does anything with Reiki, but I know she does into that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'll connect you on Facebook.
Oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah. I feel like that's just going to fall into place. It's like just a matter of having the time to keep everything else all like juggling at the same time. Like, I feel like this is my last year for the Horse Sense workshop at the kids' summer camp. I've got so much going on, and my 2 hospice clients, I love them dearly, and I don't wish to hasten their demise, but they're both like in decline, and I know that's the nature of the thing, and I'm feeling like I'm maybe not going to take on more hospice clients for a while, or like tomorrow I'm doing this presentation at the agency, and I'm going to talk to them about training so that they can, I think that's more of an impact, to train people to do it. And I could train the families and the clients themselves to do it, instead of just me going in once a week at the most if I have time, because that doesn't make as much of an impact on someone who's really in serious condition and stuff. So this teacher training is really helping me look at shifting that. But I had to go all the way through to all these steps to really see, okay, I know now what this really is and what I can do. So now it's like, ready to go. So
great.
Happening.
Nancy, did you have something to say earlier?
No.
Okay. I felt like I cut you off, so.
Not that I remember.
Okay, good.
I think we're all just trying to talk at once because we all have all these ideas. So.
But I think this is super cool, and I mean, I would love for this to, I mean, for kind of selfish reasons, I'd love for it to happen, because, you know, if we could do a creative retreat there or something like that.
Absolutely. That would be awesome. Mm-hmm.
I think it could be awesome. Amazing.
Yeah, I would love to have you guys come, and Nisha too, when you're feeling better.
Yeah. So looking at time, we're about there.
Yeah, we must be, because Phil's home. I heard him come in. So what else? Do you guys want to help with anything or feedback? Or
one, I want to thank you guys for doing that meditation thing with me, and doing the word,
Great.
and having a very different experience than what I imagined. Because I think it worked out perfectly. It's just I tend to get like, okay, well, this is the way it's going to happen, and I didn't want to control it like that. Okay. But one of the things that I'm wondering, so like when I do this, and I want to actually do this like kind of like my lead magnet, like, do you think that would be cool to have something like this where you can say, and since you guys came up with different words, I'm wondering if there'd be like, you know, I do kind of, I don't know how to, one, it would be bigger than this because this is kind of hard to write even what I wrote, but I wonder if it'd be, if I did like more like a pyramid type thing or something. What is that?
little tiny Post-its, so people could change their word.
Oh wow, that's a cool idea.
Meditation, or they could like fit a bunch of them on. They're like just this big. I
wanted to kind of like make it so you can, I mean, if you wanted to draw on it or, you know, do some decoupage or you know, anything like that, you can do whatever you want with them. It's supposed to be creative. So.
Yeah, I like that. That's, as soon as you held up the three-dimensional thing, it's like, oh yeah, you can play with it. And for visual learners or tactile learners or whatever, you can turn it around, set it on your desk, whichever way you want it and stuff. I think that's great.
Well, that's one of the things that really helps me with, you know, having a specific word. So like, you know, for me, creative is discover. And it's like, how am I discovering stuff? And I use, you know, my writing, my photography, my illustration, all this stuff in order to discover and to explore different ideas and so forth. and it really helps me to like get centered on it, you know. I don't know how that would be with having, you know, multiple words. Maybe they all kind of play together and, you know, help you to create a richer environment. I don't know.
So did you have one word that went through each of your chakras and you kept the same word as you took it up through your chakras? Oh, okay. I mean,
So,
I could do that too. I just didn't realize. I had, yeah.
and you know, Steve, I think you've come so far from like the beginning of the group. You didn't really have a form to all the ideas that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's come so far from that. And I think that it would probably enhance your ability around the guided imagery to go back and listen to today's recording.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, does Zoom give you a transcript?
No, it doesn't. But
I've got
ways that I can change that so what I do, like on my daily recordings that I do on my phone, is I've got a site that allows me to upload the file, and then I listen to it, and while I'm listening to it, I type it out.
Yeah.
Isn't there there's a way to do it on YouTube that Miche showed us one time.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah. Even
Because
if you go through correct a little bit.
I think there's a lot that you can do with this, like you said, a lead magnet, and I'm thrilled to hear you thinking that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems to be something that we keep coming back to because we're using it. And just like the bridge and the castle and, you know, the soul scribbles, it's like you're using it, and in the group we use it and we refer to it. We all know what we're talking about, and it helps. Those are touch points that really help, that are like part of your repertoire now.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I did too is I actually integrated the bridge in a very loose way with this pyramid thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized is that, like, over on the side of the castle is like what I want, right? And then on the other side is where I'm at right now. And then the gap in between is, you know, what's the difference, the gap between where I am and where I want to be. You know, how do I navigate? How do I create the bridge that takes me from one side to the other? And I look at it from each of the four faces of the pyramid. So I have one for, you know, my cultivating time and so forth.
That makes sense. It would be really cool PR for you if I actually manifested a castle. A nice endorsement, huh, Steve?
That would be.
This really works. Be careful, you may end up owning a pyramid if you use this. Can you do one that's a labyrinth? That might be fun.
Yeah.
Sunken treasure. Well, you got gifts into gold. I mean, it's fun. That's the great thing about it. It's really fun. It's not like, guess what? You're going to spend 80 hours this week on marketing.
I know, my gosh. I listened to a podcast last night.
And castles. Yay. You know, let's do that.
Whenever someone says, well, you're going to spend, you know, 80% of your time, you know, promoting your stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd rather go back to corporate. We don't have to worry about that, you know?
Doesn't that sound horrible? But then when you think about it, it's like, oh, I did this thing at Toastmasters, and I could lead my Sunday school in meditation. And when I go on my walks, I see these beautiful things and photograph them. And then I show them to people. It's like, that is doing your marketing. But when you put it that way, it seems a little different.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Well, that was it. So kind of going back off your affirmation, Nancy, in your prayer, what I realized today in my meditation, what I brought into it and got out of it, I didn't really bring into it, what I got out of it. And this is going to seem like so stupid and simple to you, but I realized I've been trying to be all these different things, and there are definitely times that I need to be in these spaces, but fundamentally, foundationally, I'm a creator. You know, and I don't have to be a connector in order to, you know, build my business. You know, I naturally connect people anyway, but I can come from it come at it from the perspective of being a creator first.
Right.
Doesn't have to be that you spend the same number of hours on each thing, or that maybe that's the thing. You can help people with setting intentions around. If you're a creator and feel like less of a connector, then maybe your intention is just the right people come to me, just the right connections come to me, because that person may not be happy in a networking room of 100 people in a hotel ballroom.
Yeah.
I did that once and I wanted to run away screaming, but anyway.
I've done it many times and I always wanted to. So I've totally avoided doing any kind of in-person networking lately for years.
Although I'll say, if they're farmers or artists or healers, it's a lot more fun for me. But if they're people who are like standing on their chairs singing a little operatic aria about being an insurance salesperson or whatever, I'm not. Anyway.
Well, that's creative.
It was, and the energy just wasn't my vibe. So anyway.
Well, it's like, yeah, I can totally relate. There's a podcaster that I unfortunately heard a little bit on a different podcast this weekend. And every time I hear his voice, it's just like, and he's like a super popular podcaster, but it's just like, oh my gosh. He reminds me of those popular kids in high school who just, all they cared about was being popular. They didn't give a crap out, what they really said. They just wanted to be popular. And it's just, just shut up.
Yep. Not the right match. But I like how you use the word cheerleader, and Nancy used that too. Isn't that in your book?
Yes.
And the way you did it.
Replacing fear leaders with cheerleaders.
That's what it was. Yeah. And so it's the phrasing around, because cheerleaders can have so many funny connotations to that word, right? But Steve, you said something about leadership, and then the next thing you said was cheerleader. And so when you look at the word, like, that was a really interesting way of thinking about leadership. A cheerleader isn't like, it's all about me. It's all about revving up other people, and you can do it. And so that's like a different model of leadership.
I like that.
I can't wait to see you in the white boots with the pom-poms, though, I have to say. Sweater, and never mind about the skirt. Nancy, I could picture in that outfit.
You might be waiting a while for me to do that.
At least a utility kilt.
I'll definitely do a kilt. I mean, you just have to give me some of your steampunk stuff or something.
Exactly. I know. I hope we do this. I mean, we'll go to it anyway. It's an event in New Hampshire, Railway to the Moon. It's a cog railway. It's like this old, it's another like Victorian historic kind of thing. It fits right in. And it's up in the mountains. It's like near nothing. There are little tourist towns down around it. In the last few years, we've gone to the steampunk festival there, because trains are like a popular steampunk theme. It's very small, just a few people come, but they're having Bruce Rosenbaum this year, who we met a few years ago at the Springfield Steampunk Festival, where we ended up later doing Reiki there. And he is now like this big deal steampunk artist. He and his wife have taken over this this old church building in Massachusetts and turned it into a steampunk museum and home for themselves. And it's on Netflix in their like Fabulous Interiors series and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he is doing huge like bridge restoration, artistic kind of projects and stuff. Huge projects like in Boston and for hotels. And so now just in the past few years, from when we met him at this little tea party in a tiny little ballroom in a B&B in Springfield, Vermont at the Steampunk Festival, now he's like on a world steampunk artist stage.
Wow.
On Facebook.
Well, that'd be a cool person to get into your B&B.
Oh, I know it. See, steampunk could be a really awesome theme for events there. You do a steampunk tea party in a place like that and people will show up. You're going to have to limit who can come, but it would be a great fundraiser. And the thing about steampunk is it might seem like a partying crowd, and it can be. But actually, a lot of what people do is raising funds for charity causes. Like the whole Springfield, Vermont Steampunk Festival was put on by volunteers as a nonprofit thing to raise money for like the animal shelter and stuff. So as a fundraiser there, people would pay a lot of money to like just dress like really like historic or raunchy Victorian or whatever, and come and have a tea party in a fabulous mansion and raise money for the local Reiki program or something. I don't know. So that would be awesome.
That reminds me, I'm reading a novel right now. What is his first? I don't know. He's a Spanish, like from Spain, Spanish novelist. It's like apparently globally really popular. He spends his time between Los Angeles and Spain. But it kind of has a, it's not really, but it kind of has a steampunk vibe to it.
It's definitely starting to creep into different genres that aren't totally steampunk, but exactly as you say, there's a little bit like, you know, that like a little bit of a Victorian industrial theme, or, you know, a little alternate history kind of thing, or style. A lot of more movies are coming out like that too.
I have to get going, guys, because I've got a massage. Oh, poor me.
Oh, poor you. Wow.
If you must.
That sounds
I
awesome.
should actually get back to working on this grant application because it's due Thursday.
Okay.
But this is great. We might have to extend our time. We all seem to need more than 5 minutes anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, if you put your affirmations in the message, and
would you read the quote again to end?
Oh, yeah. Same quote.
Yeah, I love hearing it kind of bookended.
I like that too, yeah.
So the strongest of all warriors are these two, time and patience. Leo Tolstoy, in War and Peace.
That was in War and Peace, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
So as you're, you know, being your steampunk warrior or whatever.
Yeah.
Time and patience. Okay, bye-bye. Enjoy your massage.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your work with us. It was beautiful.
It is beautiful. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
And thanks for sharing your pyramid.
You bet. All right. Take care.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.